Okay, we're back. Wrong button. Yep. Oh, not again. Right, now I need to figure out which city that was specifically and which building was destroyed. The modern earthworks has been destroyed. Beijing. Lovely. Amazing. Exactly what I wanted to happen. Right, I wrote it up so I can reach other spots. Move on. Wrote this up as well. Explore the inner solar system. Grab Sentinel. Prep another interplanetary probe. So, actually, the probes don't have increasing costs, do they? Well, there's 3 wonders that I can build. Kepler, James Webb, and Icarus. So, I'll still construct Sentinel for further reduction in flammability in all cities, because fire events are annoying. Would be ironic to say should go die in a fire, but moving on. Joy. Fire event. Yeah, that has a maglev. Can be tough to see with the farmhouse getting in the way. There's the view, no matter where I look. That's just wonderful. Getting to that tile is not going to be easy. This one doesn't actually have anything. Fine, I'll work this tile then. Grow forest. Grow, grow, grow. Okay. Right. These two, and future stuff might bring up new buildings to build, so... Of course I should avoid building massively long queues. This can make the decision making a little bit faster. For the moment. Later on it gets funny again. With how often that stuff comes up. Okay, fine. Swap to that one. there anything I want to talk about? Do remember 3D printing. Oh, you know what? Sure. I'm going to just admit straight out that most of my knowledge of 3D printing comes from a few years ago, so this stuff could be outdated. And the game is trying to talk over me with those. Oh, good. It's done. So yeah, 3D printing is essentially the well, what a 3D printer does is that it takes a plastic usually. Probably could have done without plastic, but it takes what is usually a plastic, heats it up immensely. Well, maybe not immensely. It heats it up until it's almost at its melting point. That's a key thing there. Almost. I'm very much tempted to find the source of that sound and just delete it. Or at least find a way to replace it temporarily with something less noisy. Okay. Yeah. It's taking a small amount of plastic, heating it up so that it's just above the melting point, and then extruding it onto either a base plate or a portion of the already finished construction, layer by layer. Once it leaves the extruder, it very quickly cools down back into a solid. And so long as it's carefully done, any shape that you, and you know, it's supported well enough so that it doesn't fall apart. Any shape that you can think of can be created in a 3D printer. Of course, there are physical limitations, as I said. Because of the way it works, you're going to need enough support. So if you build something that's very top-heavy, you're going to have to build it upside down. Probably. And if not, well, you're going to need to include inside the programming a proper set of equipment. Specifically, enough structural supports, which can be done, but it's generally not the easiest thing. Okay, work on removing the swamp. This can take some time, but I can get another farm in place, which is much better than the other options for what to build there. Yes, so it doesn't exactly have a huge amount of production. We didn't. Oops. Of course, this isn't perfect after all. Currently, 3D printing is limited to plastic stuff, which... Well, plastic is forever. And for a super material, it tends not to be the most resilient. We cannot replace everything with plastic 3D printed components. Some things just have to be conductive. Or rigid, which is where metal comes in. The ocean administration requires abyss colonization and ocean archaeology. Yeah, okay, pier. It's a cheap building that can get me a lot of stuff. And the makerspace is available now. Neat. What does this require again? Oh, I need a robotics lab. Okay. That explains that. Okay, CAD studio. 3D printing mill. Biofuel. Switchboard. Tabulation firm. Should be good enough for the city for now. New stuff is likely to come up and may change the calculus on what is the best building build.
If you just have a single problem to solve, then fine, go ahead and use a neural network. But if you want to do science and understand how to choose architectures, you have to understand what architectures can and cannot do.
Yep. A neural network can only do so much. And that is effectively the space of the AGI problem. How can we make something that can take information from one area, information from another area, and combine it in, you know, interesting ways? Oops. Click the Cyclopedia on accident. Space. Yeah, I'll send you over to here. Okay, you have enough movement points. Easily. I needed an observatory in the city in order to build the James Webb Telescope. Yipe. Oh well. Icarus. Ah, that's why I haven't heard much about it. It's from the Japanese space program. That space program doesn't get very much news. Okay. I just need to do something for a moment off screen. Apologies for the interruption. That's incoming. There. I've done what I needed to do for the moment. Okay. Build a farm in the tile. It's really the best way to handle marshes, which is annoying, but I can't even build a nature preserve around them. Okay, that should be good enough for that city. Yeah. Okay. That's enough for now. Let's see. But yeah, that's at least as far as I'm aware the current state of 3D printing. You are effectively just putting plastic onto other things, and it has to be a specific set of plastics. And there's also the fact that, yeah, and the machine has to be able to use that specific plastic. Because different plastics are made from different polymers, and those polymers all have their own unique set of characteristics. So the end result is potentially different. They might have a different melting point, which could cause some serious problems. When it comes to the end result of, you know, the machine attempting to work. That's true for a lot of things, though. I mean, for example, car engines are designed for a specific grade of fuel, and while it can still work on different, you know, different grades, it probably won't be happy about that. So we'll have issues that need to be resolved somehow. Oh, I probably should build that bank. Okay. The escape key wasn't doing its thing again. I know for a fact I was pressing it, so... Just some oddities with the controls sometimes. It happens. Alright, road you up. Send you off to interplanetary... Well, no, yeah. Well, the inner solar system. For an exploration award that I can use to build another wonder. Sure, why not? Self-repair. Dang it, it did actually get rid of the tree farm, the replacement process. Lovely. Yeah, and also plastic is not the most resilient of things. It tends to have its own issues. And it's not a wonder material for everything. Which is why the whole plastic gun scare really isn't a problem. Unlike what you think it is. What you might think it is. Because, well, I mean, you can't truly make a usable gun out of pure plastic. First off, there is the issue that is the bullets. How the heck are you supposed to make the bullets work under those circumstances? Seriously. You cannot make gunpowder out of plastic. You could theoretically do some sort of launcher that doesn't work, that works differently from gunpowder, but at that point it's... Huh, what's this? Renewable energy, nanotubes, factory power plants. River or coastal access? Ah, okay. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, you can't really do a plastic gun. Again, you can't do gunpowder out of plastic. That's a ridiculous thought. Gunpowder doesn't work that way. nor is it made that way. Okay, so has the city built the animation studio? Yes. Has it built the modern offices? Well, I mean, yes. Otherwise, I would not be able to build the design studio, so. Yeah. You could try doing a launcher of some kind, but at a certain point, it stops being a gun and starts becoming a pocket catapult. Because an actual gun does not work that way. It does not work by launching the thing through a kinetic process. It's more complex than that. Right, so plant some bamboo. We need to build a tree farm in that space. Okay. That. This. I'm gonna wait on anything further because, yeah, tech could adjust quite a few things. The city doesn't need to worry too much about tech changing the numbers. Plus, there's also the fact that, I mean, even the gun itself, even if you source gunpowder, the plastic can't handle the gunpowder explosion. At best, it fails to trigger properly. At worst, the plastic explodes in your face. Which, probably is not a good thing. I'm not a gun expert, but I don't think that the weapon exploding in your face is um, something that you want to happen under these circumstances. Yeah. Okay, probably should start moving towards the farms actually in place and setting up better infrastructure. Okay. You know what? Before anything, where is the observatory? Oh, you can't even build the observatory. That's right. You don't actually have any sort of hills or mountains nearby. No elevated terrain means no observatory can be built. Which means I need another location to put that wonder. Oh, neat. The city has all of its. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, you need the digital offices to build that, so I really should build that. It's also smart to build the robotics lab so I can get that other thing. Whales. I'm gonna mine that hill, probably. Sorry, just need a moment. Okay. So. Oh, I can't even put a factory on here? That's weird. I guess you can't put them on hills. Oh, that's new to me. Huh. Yeah, I think the bottom line's better. I can get more out of the hills tile than from these ice tiles. Probably. The city could use... Yeah, I'm gonna rush a workboat. Where is the workboat? That's a cargo ship. There it is. Hurry. Okay. That was my own inaccuracy. No, the automobile factory actually provides less than the expected amount. Yeah, it should be good for that city for now. Yeah. Plus, there's also the fact that the barrel.
Making realistic robots is going to polarize the market, if you will. You will have some people who love it and some people who will really be disturbed.
Yeah. Yep. That one is absolutely true. The whole uncanny valley thing. That one is a fairly simple concept that if something looks rather close to human, it starts to look extremely alien. We're not entirely sure what the evolutionary reason for this is, but the most probable is simply just, well, illness. A sick person is gonna, with visible diseases, you know, is like pustules and tumors and whatnot. Yeah. People with those diseases just look really off compared to the normal perception of, you know, human person. So that's an easy way to say, nope, don't interact, avoid. Well, it's an easy distinction to make, perhaps. Yeah, that is the best way to put it. Okay, wait. Probably grab the 3D printing mill. It's good enough for now for that city. Right, last one is James Webb, right? Either way, the last one requires an observatory in the city in order to be built. I'm not really doing the building process though, but yeah, that's only there in borders because of a thing. Weird, in this swamp I can... Okay, swamp money versus swamp blush. Isn't that not a way of needing to distinguish? It's just some sort of oddity. That's how it always is. Whoops, sorry about that. Ah, fine. Let's get to the city stuff. Our mine's actually right away. Can never be 100% certain what comes up next, so... Should I talk about machine learning a bit? Sure, why not? So, machine learning is... well... I'm not sure if I need to explain what specifically it is, rather than how... but instead lean towards how it's done, considering how LLMs have become very present in marketing. And I mean extremely present. Cannot escape the advertising levels at present. Which annoys me thoroughly. But machine learning is specifically an algorithm that takes data from previous occurrences of the algorithm, stores it, and then runs the program dependent on the responses to it, and can do so iteratively. It can do this over and over again and come up to completely unexpected results. Something you would not have, that you might not have done. The simplest versions are pretty much exactly as I described, and tend to involve a sort of points system. The computer receives points, well, the program specifically, receives points based upon how well it does a specific task. And the better it does the task, the more points it gets, and it wants as many points as possible. And over time, it will iterate upon the programs. Well, the variables that end up getting used, changing them, adjusting them slightly, seeing if it works better, until it comes up with a program that's very good at doing that specific task based upon those parameters. More complex ones are either use a different methodology for this to get this sort of result, or are layers upon layers of this get better numbers over and over again. The exact nature of it is rather dependent on what is going on and what the plan is. But it is essentially how a neural net works, so. There's no farms around. Plant bamboo. Yeah, let's give Hilo the James Webb Telescope. Free observatory in every city. Oh, neat. I wasn't aware that that gave that to me. Cool. So machine learning has its uses and issues. It's really good for dealing with programmatically complex things. Like seriously complex things like image recognition. That one is difficult because if you don't do machine learning, you have to hand program the characteristics. Or, use an LLM to program the characteristics for you, which probably is an even worse option in general. One of the things LLMs are really bad at is context. So I don't think I need to explain why that is not the greatest of ideas. Yeah, if I want to ensure that there still is a farm here, because I can't just place a farm there, while still being able to exploit this, I need to remove the forest and build a farm here. I'm not sure what happens to the farm extension if I don't have a farm around the city anymore, but I don't want to test that. I really don't want to try that out. I think the answer might be a bit of a pain to get to. Whatever I build here, I definitely want a maglev. Should make it easier to get from one part of the place to another. Of course, there are issues with machine learning, first off. It has to learn, so you need to spend time training it with practice. And at the very beginning, it's going to be awful at whatever it is you want it to do. Like, genuinely atrocious. Hilariously bad, however else you want to put this. You do not want it to do anything important, is what I'm saying. Okay, so the city lacks modern offices. Great. Needs an animation studio too. Admittedly, it does have a few buildings that I would like to build sooner. Okay, that should be good. Sorry about that. I'm back. Yeah, it's really a bit of machine learning. I mean, there's multiple methods, but I don't remember all that much about them. It's just like with 3D printing, some of my knowledge is outdated. Can't believe I didn't make the maglev for the farm there. I know for a fact I recently built that farm. Wait. You're not a worker. Okay, you have the animation studio set up. Do you have the design studio? Yeah, from the looks of it. Do you need modern offices though? Okay, CGI. Digital offices. Okay, you have the modern offices, you need the digital offices. Electrum Smith, Copper Mine. Let's do the programming language first. What I really should do is think and dink. So it really does have really good production right now, so. Well, it's got resin up there. That'll do. That'll do.
Derivatives, financial weapons of mass destruction.
You know what, I'm just gonna open up the Civilopedia page, so I have a... Nothing tangible like money that is being exchanged. Oh. Yeah, now I can fully understand how that could be used for ludicrous things. Oh no. Not just ludicrous things, ludicrously bad things. You know, true to the financial weapons of mass destruction. Dealio. Yeah, let's be good for there. CGI studio. The digital offices have been built. Okay. City has built the digital offices, so that's open now. Definitely want to get that CGI studio up. To the point where I think I'm gonna skip. Yeah, I mean that CAD studio is just gonna outpace almost anything. Except for these early buildings. I mean, it does actually technically outpace them, but if it's that cost effective, I may as well build it. Plus, that queue finishes next session, so I don't need to worry about it now. That'll make it future me's problem. Because when has that ever gone wrong? Ever. I mean, you can already do ridiculous market manipulation just from actual purchases. I mean, I'm sure some of you know of the insanity that was Wall Street bets propping up GameStop's stock price. That's causing quite a few companies to make massive losses because they were betting on the stock going down, the stock price going down, through the use of derivatives, actually. No, tree farm built there. Okay. Oh, I have a swap thing here. Yep, a wetlands camp. You know, we'll maintain the wetlands camp for now, which isn't amazingly important, but I do plan on using the tile for something. Well, that tree farm probably. It's usually the best building. Sigh. I really need to get flammability down. It is mainly out of the nuisance aspect, really. But still. It'd be nice not have to deal with that. I keep checking the quarry. It keeps telling me it's not worth it. And it's probably right. Ah, this is one of those tiles that I can't actually build anything on, so it's part of my actual cultural borders. Which is nice because it's in a especially fun location. Ooh! Ooh! That's a tile with a tree farm. Eat. Okay, what next? This tile is unworked, and I can put a mine on it. Not sure why that's been left untouched. Possibly out of reach long term. Okay, 3D printing mill. Looks like there's anything exceptional around here. Except a whole bunch of smelters, really. Okay, do you have the animation studio? Yes. CGI? Not yet. Digital offices? No. Okay. Birds. Okay, you need this. But I probably should build anything that's better than 2-to-1 efficiency. First. Just to maximize the amount of production I have available to me. That is at least reasonably efficient. Plus the computer science department because it's good. No. That's not particularly efficient. And these two because they're helpful. Okay, design studio. The programming language is, well, amazing. Consistently. Okay, so you need the CGI. There it is. And digital offices, which are over here. Okay. Yeah, we'll hit flash memory and be good. Yeah, as for the topics that I talked about, if you really want to learn more, or aren't sure of what I say, which is probably a good thing, whenever I talk about something concrete, quite a bit of it is based upon memories of things I've read over the years, which is a terrible source. So do look things up and make sure that the source is repeatable. generally means scientific publication. Right now, the tech is to get to rapid prototyping because that gives the evolution simulator and Makerspace 8 production. It also empowers the manufacturing complex. Gives me even a bit more science from the Venter's Workshop. It's quite a bit of gold too, but the gold isn't the important bit. Alright, force turn. Nothing else to it. Oh, neat. Let's get you the robotics lab. Oh, come on. Another city. Okay. That's how I can build the chariot workshop. There's the programming language. Always nice to see. Production has certainly increased, which is quite good. That's more efficient, not. Definitely more efficient. I need that too much to ignore. And everything else is less efficient than the 3D printing mill. I should build that after. I don't remember if I built the anime studio. Yes, okay. If I built the digital offices here. No. What a turn. Okay, and then I'm going to replace that with an iron mine because iron is a ridiculously good resource that can get me so much, so very easily. Again? Oh, it's 6,600. What will it be this time? Most advanced.
Flash memory has been doing very well, so I don't think they have any plans to sell that.
Internet archive, and I can do flash memory sizes. What are these used for? Enables hacker, astronautic technician, manufacture ships. Okay. It's used in Bell Labs. Well, it's one of the things that can allow Bell Labs. The Augmented Equipment Center. That's augmented reality, right? Yeah, okay. So really, nothing super duper important yet. The automated vehicle, that is biomechanical harvesting and autonomous vehicles. No. The Epsilon assembler sounds like something from, yeah, that's biomechanical harvesting. That's information era. A late information era, though. Of course, a fairly interesting set of things. That's the mechatronics lab, which also requires biomechanical harvesting. There it is. Yeah, this is basically generating electricity from your own activity. Wait, are we? No, we're not. Are we possibly halfway through the era? I don't think so. We're approaching the point, though. Just keep setting up the better road networks. I should be careful because this is the last turn. I don't want to go partially through another turn. Could probably do partially. Ooh, rubies. Replace the factory there. Okay. Yeah. Right. I'm gonna let that run its course. I really should replace this farm with uranium. Oh, are we done? Nice. So, I finished up with the latest set of explorations. And I'm almost there to getting rapid prototyping to get another large boost to production. I think industrial ecology has a few production buildings. Automated waste collection system. Sure. There's a Gen 4 reactor. Is it just an industrial ecology? I mean, I need uranium too, but it's the replacement for the fast breeder and nuclear power plant. And it doesn't need water. It doesn't need river access. And look at that, 80 production plus 30% production. I mean, since I have fast breeder and high tech, it's not much. It's plus 10 production and plus 10% production. But it does mean less maintenance cost. Despite this, I think this is a regular building. Despite the star. It may have been a national wonder in its prior history, but yeah. It's also heating cooling district, hydraulic... Oh, fracking. And the supercritical CO2 turbine. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I think I'll go for industrial ecologies, and then no, that requires autonomous vehicles. Which requires virtual society. Which is down here. It requires media psychology. Which is over here. I probably can research that, though. Yeah, okay. Megacities gives me a bunch of free maglev files, free manufacturing plant, free commercial airport, free digital offices, free metropolitan administration, free lab, free international port, free aerotropolis? Oh. Plus 5, yeah, okay. Modular construction firm, which replaces the CAD studio, and doesn't have any particular requirements, which is nice, because I don't need to do the CGI studio anymore. River administration and make the river tiles even more fun? Yeah. I'll get to superstring theory eventually. Space tourism isn't very helpful since commercial space flight. Lunar bases isn't that helpful, although the lunar outpost wonder would be nice. It's a potential amount of materials, but that's imaginary physics. I can figure out exactly what to do later. There are, after all, future sessions when I can work this out on, work the problem on later on. Ah, words. Yeah, I'm still uncertain as to whether or not I will plant any more cities. I mean, 100 cities is a lot, and I do know of spaces where a city could easily fit. Fit well is questionable, but certainly fit. The problem is if I want river access and or fresh water, yeah, that might be a bit trickier. Oh well. I do know that I'm going to be setting up space cities, though. But that might be a bit of a spoiler. Yes, you can set up cities in space. It's fairly late in the tech tree, though. Like, I mean, sure, I'm planning this, but I think it's advanced environmental systems that allows me to do that. Potentially. I mean, yeah, lunar colonization is necessary in order to build stuff on the moon. And there's planetary construction over here that allows me to settle Venus and Mars. Hmm. Perhaps the... Don't remember when that comes up. Still. The the plain and simple fact is that these techs are going by faster and faster, despite being further ahead in the tech tree, which is a very good sign. It means that my science output is growing fast, although I'm sure some of that is due to the fact that I built the internet at some point in the last session. Let's get those buildings out first, and then... Okay. Right. I should probably stop here. Right. Plenty of stuff to do. Oh well. So many turns to go through, really. Anyway, I've gone on long enough. I'll see you again next time. Until then.